Hello, everyone. This is Father Loyola from Milwaukee Archdiocese. I'm sorry I missed the first week of Advent. I would like to share with you my reflections on the second Sunday of Advent, particularly the first reading from the book of Prophet Baruch, chapter 5, verses 1 to 9, and the Gospel of Luke, chapter 3, verses 1 to 6. As I read the first reading, and the first sentence of the first reading really spoke volumes to me to what is going on in the world today. The prophet says, Jerusalem, take off your robe of mourning and misery, put on the splendor of glory from God forever. The prophet challenged people to rejoice when they were mourning the slavery, the hardships they suffered in slavery. It was close to the time of liberation from Babylonian slavery. It resonates with what's going on with the people of Israel, people of Syria, as we see on the news that the Assad regime has been um, stricken down, and he fled the country. He and his father ruled the country of Syria for over 50 years. And now people rejoice, and they endured such terrible situations. People and children were put to all kinds of cruelties. And children were gassed, as we know, with all the chemical weapons. People were tortured and executed and hanged in prisons. His own people have been killed by their own president. And how shameful it is for the world to see how he had treated his own people. And this is what God gives us. When we endure unbearable atrocities, we are to remain with trust in God. In God's time, things will be liberated. Moving on to the gospel, we find Luke mentioning all the big names in history: the emperor of Rome, Pontius Pilate, the governor of Judea, who was instrumental in the crucifixion of Jesus, and all the tetrarchs, the Jewish kings' names are mentioned, as well as Annas and Caiaphas, the high priests, whom Jesus encountered, and so on. What Luke intends to tell us, after recalling these events several decades after the life of Jesus, is to let us know these people in big power could not thwart God's ways. Quite contrary to this, God chose to reveal God's message to a humble person, John, the son of Zechariah, in the desert. And there he begins to reveal God's message. Every valley, in other words, God is going to come and act in the world quite contrary to human ways. God would not abuse power and might. He would choose to be a very humble person and enter this world quite contrary to human ambitions. And therefore, human ego that is inflated like the mountain has to be deflated, and all the humble people will be raised. That will be the kind of model Jesus would propose to humanity, to act differently. So if you and I are humbled by people with huge ego, we have to wait for God's intervention. If we are humbled, feeling ourselves left out, helpless, and so on, we can always hope in God, because God would raise us in God's time. We just have to wait for the meaning to evolve so that we can trust God continuously. Thank you, and God bless.